Okay, I am gonna run through each layer of programming that I've been working on and try to get it working together, but I haven't fully tested this out. So first things first, Command Option J, Windows configurations. In the Windows configurations, this is basically both the edit window, which is this, the mix window, which is this, and anything that you see on the screen in terms of just windows. So I mean, it could be like MIDI, it could be all kinds of stuff. So it's the collection of windows in their setup, in their layout, how they're configured. And then you save them. So like I have this one for keys, which has the MIDI out. It also has the plugin. I have this one for drums. This has the drums program open, a different setting on the MIDI. And then I have this one for guitars. Now this has my amp, the tape machine on the way in. It's got my reverb for the room, my reverb for the plate. It's got my modulation, tape echoes, and digital delay. And then the last thing is the mix window for all of them. Now, one thing to kind of notice is no matter how I switch through, all of these tracks stay the same, right? So it's just the folders each time. And so we go to layer 2, which is Command 5. And now we have our memory locations. And so I'll make a new one. And so memory locations are a combination of time properties, marker properties, and then what they call general properties. And so a time property can be like where it is on the timeline. I use that for arrangement, so like verse 1, chorus, bridge, that kind of stuff. And this is not going to be one of those because this is just an extension of the Windows configuration. So I have the ability to now tile between zoom properties, track visibility, track heights, and then here I can call up the Windows configuration that I just made. And so now this is like a 2-level macro. Let me cancel out of this. And so now, if I switch into my home position here, it's the same. If I go to my vocals, you see how now the track heights are different because I want to have a little bit more real estate when I'm recording and when I'm pitching things to other tracks. For my drums, you've already kind of seen this, but what you'll notice is different this time is all those other tracks are hidden. So I took the time to actually customize each individual tray or region. And so I've hidden all the tracks that I'm not using. Bass is very clean because I haven't built it out yet. It's just right now one audio track, but that'll get more complex with some other plugins and things, probably closer to what I have for guitar, but simpler than that. For keys, this is super cool. So these are, you can see when I scroll down, this is there's nothing down here. So I've customized the track heights of these because I don't need to see all the tracks. All of those are linked back here to the faders. And so we'll go through that in a few minutes, but basically, so for my keys memory location, it's drawing from the Windows configuration, which has the piano up, it has the MIDI roll open, but it also hides all of the tracks that aren't keys, and it shrinks these down to fit in this region. And so this is exactly how I'd want my window to be configured, with track visibility, track heights, zoom, plugin visibility, and MIDI on the screen. And then we get in the guitar and you see I did a same play on that where I have the 8 tracks that I want to use, and now I don't need MIDI for this. They're all individual audio tracks. And so all I have here are 8 of the audio tracks that I'm using to record. Each of them have plugins, and the plugins are visible on the screen at the same time. And so right here, I could come up and, again, like you see these now turn green back here. I'll bring that forward in a moment, but then the record on that would arm these, and then I'd be able to play guitar through them. And then this is a little bit more complex. This is for me to mix my drums down. And so when I have my beat done, these are all of the microphones in the program mapped to tracks, so I can dump them to audio, what you'd call stems, and have them routed out as audio so that I can do my own processing. So that's layer 2 for everything. Now, layer 3 is actually the iPad, and it's the upper here. And I thought that these were one and the same, but I learned that actually the bottom is layer 4, and that's independent. And so, a couple cool things I can do here. Let me go back to kind of a main view. So if I press menu, this is my file, edit, view, track, clip. Up here, file, edit, view, track, clip. And so I don't have to use a mouse to edit or to enter into those menus. I have everything here. And so when I'm using my control surfaces, this gives me access to the top menus of Pro Tools without having to go into them. You notice when I clicked this button down here, this is menu, the bottom bar stayed the same, so layer 4 remained unchanged. Layers 1 and 2 went unchanged, but layer 3 changed from the command from layer 4. And so each one of these has access to all of the above. So if I wanted to enter into my time operation, so if I wanted to do a meter change, go from 4/4 to 6/8 or whatever, I can pop that up here. And you can see now this actually changed on the screen. So now I'm calling things up from layer 4 back to layer 1, because remember that's a window, and I can get rid of that. If I wanted to change the tempo of the track, I have that here. So I'm using a command anchored in layer 4, harkening back to layer 1, and now this is what I'm using to change my tempo. I also can come in to do event operations, and so this is like transposing MIDI notes, quantizing, those types of things. All that's available to me, again, from layer 1, called upon from layer 4. And then I have my MIDI editor. So I can pop this up, and that's also a layer 1 window called up from layer 4. And I have my mixer view here also. I also have a button down here that's called Hide All Floating Windows. So if I had something up on the screen, I can close them with one button. So that kind of clears everything. Now here's where it gets the most complex. If I now use this memory locations button, this is layer 4, for the first time, you see that layer 4 also changed. So that changed layer 3 and layer 4. Now what's really cool about that is if I'm doing something over here in channel view, now that these are working independently. And so if I have something going on the screen where I'm working with my inserts, now I still have control over my memory locations down here in layer 4. So I can do layer 3 and layer 4, or if I have something going on in layer 3, I can still get where I need to go layer 4. Now check this out. Now if I press something on layer 3, press home, it also zeroes out layer 4. So now I'm controlling layer 4 using commands from layer 3, while it's also running a level 3 layer 3 command. Again, if I go into zoom, same thing. So I have different, some of these are overlapping, but the reason why that's cool is because, again, I'm not always going to be in soft keys mode up top. So this is controlling my level 3. If I just go to home here and now I press zoom, you see I'm now independently controlling this if I'm not locked together on layer 3 and 4. So if I come back, now let's go into automation, for example. This is super cool. So this is actually the basic automation page, and these are the basic automation controls. But I have this set, let me just go back so you can see it. This is the advanced automation page on layer 3. Advanced, basic. So now I have both pages together. Basic is going to be the only thing I'm going to need at a very quick grab. This is going to be more advanced. So again, if I'm in channel view and I need to real quickly record some automation, I can do that without switching screens. Home clears both back. Same thing with clip gain. Home clears back. And then at the end, that was the hide all floating windows. And so that is layer 1 window layouts. Layer 2, that's going to include tracks like visibility, zooms, nested in with like meta or macroed in with the Windows configurations. Layer 3 are going to be the pages, and layer 4 is going to be the what they call the soft key controls. And I'll take that one step further in just a moment.